how should I structure my meals for the day on 1,500 calories? Which is really common because a lot of people get the number of calories that they want to consume and they don't know how to actually structure their meals throughout the day and their day's worth of eating.
It can be quite overwhelming. When
Absolutely
you've never done it,
can.
you're like, how the hell do I do this?
Yeah. So let's start on like 1,500 calories. For starters, it is quite a low calorie intake. So you do have to be quite strategic with it. Like if you're eating more at maintenance or a higher calorie intake at 2,000 or more, you're probably going to be able to kind of, I guess, wing it a little bit easier. Whereas, and I don't ever think or condone that people should be winging their nutrition. However, when it's at 1,500 calories, you do have to be very, very smart with it. Now, I personally think that every single person, regardless of what your calorie intake is or how low it is, should be eating 3 main meals rather than trying to cut out different meals at different times of the day. So many people say to me, like, I don't like eating breakfast. Suck it up and get used to it. Start with the small breakfast and build up. But let's say I'm going to look at the numbers because that's what I do. Let's say you got 1,500 calories. You have 3 main meals. I would have 400 calories per meal on average. It doesn't have to be exactly 400 for those 3 meals. It could be 350 and 450 or whatever. But that will give you 1,200 calories. That leaves you 300 left. Then I would look at having 2 snacks that are 150 calories each or 300 calories total for the 2 snacks. So 1,200 plus 300 is your 1,500. Now, where you want to incorporate those snacks is quite important. You want to incorporate them at the times that you are hungriest. So notice and take note of your hunger cues. So for me, for example, I get fucking starving in the afternoon. So I have a snack late afternoon. And then I also enjoy a snack or a dessert in the evening after dinner. So literally, like my calorie intake right now, barring my pre-workout meal that I have like super early in the morning. So I'm effectively having 3 main meals and 3 snacks, but I have that first snack really early in the morning and I'm only on 1,700 calories myself. Then I have 3 main meals, about 400 calories each. And then I have a snack in the late afternoon and I have like a paddle pop or a fucking cyclone in the evening after dinner. And that's my 1,500.
I think I've seen it so many times working with like hundreds of clients myself. They like come to me end of the week and they're checking and they're just like, Mick, I'm starving. Like it's gotten to 4 o'clock and I'm so hungry. The first thing I do is look at their calorie distribution. So I'm like, all right, so if you're starving at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is when a lot of people do get quite hungry because it's getting towards the back end of the day, what are you having for breakfast? How many of your calories of your caloric goal are you getting in the AM? And are you leaving yourself with peanuts in the afternoon, which is when a lot of people are hungry? So a lot of the time when I look, it is, say they've got, I don't know, a 1,500 calorie goal. They've got like 700 calories in the morning and then only a few hundred calories in the afternoon left. Like, of course, they're going to be hungry. So looking at it with a bird's eye view and being like, okay, cool. This is my goal. This is how I want to distribute it so that it's even across the course of the day and that it's favoriting when I'm most hungry is definitely the best way to go.
Yeah.
So simple, but so important.
100%, especially when you're in a deficit. Like when you're in a deficit, you need to work towards satiating yourself and
best way possible.
Yeah, exactly. And making sure that you're as least hungry as possible. Like you will be hungry in a diet phase or in a fat loss phase. That's normal, but you need to break your days up and your meals up to suit.
Yep. And then the other thing I would suggest as well is looking at kind of your behavioral patterns. When, when are you most hungry, which is not necessarily behavioral, but what's your favorite meal of the day? Like, what do you look forward to? What's your like soul foods, I call them? For me, it's my dessert. I love ice cream every single night. So whenever I'm in like a deficit, I'm dieting, whatever it may be, the first thing that I track in MyFitnessPal is that meal because that's what I love. And if I don't get that, that's when I start feeling restricted and like I'm quote unquote dieting and not liking what I'm doing. So I put that in first, making sure it's even, of course. I'm not going to have like a 1,000 calorie dessert when I've only got 1,600. I'm only eating 1,600 calories. That would be very stupid of me. But I track that in first and then I reverse engineer it back to be like, cool, my last meal that I track is going to be the meal of the day that I actually don't really give a shit about. Like for me, that's breakfast. I don't really care about recce. So I don't mind if I have to have oats or
a small breakfast.
Yeah, like oats or like a small breakfast or something that I don't love because I don't really care about it. So working it that way as well can definitely keep you on track a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing to be mindful of as well is when you're looking at hunger levels in a deficit and how to structure your days is you want to just keep it simple. So many people overcomplicate it. Like The biggest mistake people make is that they have really big meals when they're trying to eat in a deficit. And if you have 600 calories for breakfast or 600 calories in your lunch or your dinner, then you're pretty much fucked for the rest of the day because your other meals are going to be so small. So make sure that you're evenly distributing your calories with your 3 main meals, but leave a bit left over for snacks. And you don't want to have let's say 1,500 calories as well. You don't want to have 3 main meals that are 500 calories each, and you don't have room for snacks, because you've got then big windows in between eating where you're going to find that you are hungry, and that's where you're not going to adhere to your diet.
And this can be flipped into the other way as well, like for people who are building or in a surplus. If you've got, say, like a 2,500 calorie goal or something like that, for a lot of people it's roughly that-ish. If you're having like barely any food at the start of the day and then all of a sudden you've got 2,000 calories left to eat for dinner, fuck that.
Yeah, exactly. You want to spread your meals out.
I've been there. Fuck that.
Look at your day's worth of eating and spread it out, like from the start, from your first meal to your last meal. You want to spread it out. And also when you are building, eat the most food when you are hungriest. Like it makes sense, right? Like if you're struggling to gain size or gain muscle or eat in a surplus, when are you hungriest? When do you struggle the most when you're in a fat loss phase? Think back to that. And then utilize that knowledge to then go, you know what, I'm going to have a massive smoothie at that time that might be 600, 700 calories as one of my like afternoon snacks or something along those lines. It will definitely help.
Yeah. Cool. Practical advice. We love practical advice.
Yeah. Keep it simple. Spread your meals out. I think that will cover everything.
Yeah. Love it.